Hello everyone, it's me ExilerJ, and in today's video I will be talking about all the things I wish I knew when I was a new player in Darza's Dominion. First we're going to look at the settings of the game and change some of them. You can click on the options up here, go to the controls tab, and the first thing we want to do is we want to assign a key to our health potion. You can see it over here, use health potion. Usually there's no keybind assigned to it, just assign a key, whichever key you'd like. What it basically does is, as long as you have a potion in your bag, if you use this key, it will use that potion. Next, we're going to the graphics tab. On this tab, basically, as you can see, I have cap FPS on 60 FPS, VSync off. I tried 200 FPS off with the cap. Unfortunately, it was so laggy on some boss fights, but when I turn cap on 60 FPS, the boss fights are really smooth for me. Next up we have the mouse cursor. You should change this. It just makes it so much more visible and it's easier to see where you're aiming at. One of the most important settings in the graphics tab is the world scale settings. As a new player I didn't know about this. You should turn auto scale world off and turn it to 50 and you can see so much more in the game. Another setting you want to turn off is the draw ally bullets. So basically what this setting does is the players around you, when they shoot stuff, this basically makes it invisible so you can see way better when you fight the boss or anything else. Lastly, in the graphics tab you can turn on the fast graphics settings if you'd like. I'm using it. Unfortunately you need to restart the client though. Next up in the gameplay settings, there's not much I changed here. But they did add a new setting, the chat scale, on the new update. You can change it if you think the chat box is too big for you. Yeah, there's not really much to change here. The audio is your choice. And that's it for the settings. Okay, so now that we have the settings out of the way, let's talk about the stuff in the game. First off, you can press F, and what it does is you can basically see more in front of you, a little bit less behind you, but you can use Q and E to rotate while you move. This is really useful in my opinion. I usually have it turned on most of the time. It's probably personal preference though. You can also press C to hide other players. As you can see, I'm pressing C and this hides players. It's really useful in boss fights as it just makes it more easier to see what's going on in the game. If you have a friend that you're playing with and you want to make that player visible while keeping the other players invisible, you can just use the command /lock and the player's name. This is really useful, especially if you play a healer, like I am playing the apothecary, and if you lock in your friends you can basically see their HP bars. Another thing people ask me a lot is how to trade with NPCs and players. All you have to do is you need to be close to the NPC, press the icon over here, click on the player or the NPC you need to trade with, and the trade menu pops up basically. It's really simple. One thing I couldn't figure out, since there's no explanation of it in the game yet, is the stats and what it does. You can click the graph down here to see your current stats. I got this info from Darza's Dominion Wiki page, and it explains to you how the stats works. Please do note that this wiki page has some outdated info, so some of the info about the stats could be wrong. I will be dropping a link to the page down below, but let's go through it. So first you have your health points and your mana points. Like in most games, if your health points drop to 0 you die. Mana points you use for your abilities. Then we get speed. This basically increases the movement speed of your character. You get dexterity, this increases the attack speed. You get attack, this increases the amount of damage done by weapons, but please do note it does not affect your ability damage from your spells. Then we have the armor, which basically decreases the amount of damage you take. You get Wisdom, this increases your mana regen. And last, we have Vitality, and this basically increases the health points you recover, HP regen. You can also type in a command in the game, /left to max. And what this does is it will tell you down here what you still need to max, the amount of stats you need to max that current, or that stat basically. It's really useful, and you get gems if you defeat certain bosses. Sometimes you are lucky it drops from normal enemies in the world, and if you use the gem, you basically increase your stats permanently. Another useful thing to know about the stats is once you maxed out one of the stats, please don't throw away the gems, they are still useful. You can go to the crafter Lee. If you have a stack of 2, you click on it, and Lee the crafter can give you dust. What the dust does, it boosts that specific stat +8 for 8 minutes. Another useful thing to know as a new player is the essences. If you go up here to the left, you get the essence keeper, and you get the essence exchange, which you can open, and you have 3 essences you can lock in. You unlock essences by killing bosses, and once you unlock the essence you can put it in here, and once you locked in an essence you can get an really powerful item out of it, but you need to collect a certain amount of essences before you can unlock and get this item. It can take quite a while, but it's definitely worth the grind. You get really powerful items out of this. The next thing I'd like to talk about in this game is the currencies. You get gold, you get platinum, and you get glory points. So with gold you can buy pets, vault slots, character slots, skins, and so much more. With platinum you can go to this blue bag over here. You can buy some packages to support the developers. Basically you get skins, chests, and pets out of it. You also gain some gold. Lastly, you get glory. With glory you can buy some valuable items, like over here you can buy an amulet that basically prevents death, or a really good ring. So how the glory system works is once you reach level 20 you will still be able to gain XP, and for every 1200 XP you gain 1 glory point after level 20. You can use the glory points only after you have died, unfortunately. So as you can see, I have 1.5k glory points on this character. If I die with it, it will add up to my glory points. Another thing I'd like to talk about is the gold. You can go up here, the challenges tab, click on it, and you have a lot of challenges you can do, and once you have completed some of the challenges you get gold. Basically, this is one easy way to gain gold without spending any money in the game. It's really fun and it's really cool. Next, I'd like to talk about the pets. You get all kind of pets, and you usually buy them with gold. They give different stats depending on your needs. One thing you have to know about pets is that once you do buy one, you can double click the pet, put it in your vault, and even if you die you will still have the pet in the vault available to other characters, and they will be able to use it and you don't lose the pet. So as you can see, different pets, different stats over here. I see a lot of people using the red skull. I guess that's the meta for now. I am not so sure, but I personally just use Droopy. It gives me 5 vitality, 5 speed. It's just a good overall stats for any character, but it's really all about preference and how you play the game. I will show you where the vault is. Let me go over here. So you spawn over here and the vault is over here. And this is, if you hold in control, you can see all the items that's stored in the vault that you have unlocked so far. As you can see, here's my pet. So I can just drag it out, double click it and put it back in, and as you can see I still have the pit on me. It's really useful. Yeah, the vault is really useful. If you die with your character, you lose all of the items in your bags and equipped items, but you'll still keep the vault items. I'd also like to talk about the servers in the game. There's 3 servers when I made this video: Omega, which is Europe, Excalibur, which is US East, and Zenith, which is US West. Usually I play on Omega or Excalibur. I do want to point out that this game is really lag friendly. As you can see, my ping is quite high, but there's literally no lag for me. One last thing I'd like to talk about is item swapping in this game. So if you go to your options, you see the use slot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if you put your items in your bag and you press 1, it actually swaps the item. Like as you can see, when I press 2, it swaps with the ring. And why this is so useful is, for instance, with my class, the Apothecary, I can use the mortar to heal. But if I swap to the pistol, by pressing 1, I can actually do damage as well. And this is quite useful to know. You can also change maybe to a wisdom ring to increase your mana regen in certain situations. I think this is a good thing to point out. But that's it for me with this video. I hope everyone has a better understanding of Darza's Dominion now, and I hope to see you in this beautiful game. Please like and subscribe if you like this video, and also catch me live on twitch.tv/ExilerJ. Peace out.